Good afternoon, I'm Vashan Brown with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The Bank of Jamaica has intervened in the foreign exchange market for a second straight day. On this occasion, the BOJ sold $30 million to authorize the dealers and cambios. This brings the total injection over 2 days to $70 million. The central bank says today's intervention is intended to address temporary demand and supply imbalances in the market. This follows weeks of anxiety over the local currency losing value to the US dollar. In a release yesterday, the BOJ pointed out that there has been an increase in demand for foreign currency due to the regular restocking by retailers for the Christmas season. Currency trading opened this morning with the US dollar selling for $142.23. Telecommunications Minister Favell says the authorities have met with the two major telecommunication companies to find out why there have been several interruptions over the past few months. Digicel and Flow customers have been experiencing several problems, including dropped calls, interference on phone lines, and internet connectivity issues. Mrs. Williams says, among other things, network problems are mainly due to inadequate infrastructure to meet demand.
Issue of the rising incidences of theft and vandalism of network equipment, for which there is a need for much stiffer penalties in order to give the telecom providers a fighting chance at maintaining resilience in their network. Move more swiftly, and I commit to working with my colleague ministers to strengthen legislation such as the Larceny Act, the Malicious Injuries to Property Act, and yes, the Scrap Metals Regulation.
Ms. Williams says the Office of Utilities Regulations, OUR, has met with Digicel and Flow and were told to inform customers about interruptions while doing everything possible to restore services quickly.
The OUR has also given clear directions to customers with contracts that provide for rebates, that in the event of prolonged service disruption, to insist on receiving them and to refer any refusal to honor such obligations to its attention.
In the meantime, opposition MP Philip Powell is calling for adjustments on how the telecommunications sector is regulated.
And we are both signed off on it many years ago about a single regulator dealing with telecommunications. It's a peculiar infrastructure that requires specific attention and expertise in your regulatory bodies. And I dare say, and it's not a criticism of the OUR, they are involved in electricity, they are involved in water. We believe that it is time for you to have a specialist regulator.
He reiterated the need for the government to offer more incentives to increase competition in the market.
You have cable operators now who can become telecoms providers, but many of them are fragmented, and the initial entry cost, especially if they are going to compete on the fiber optics side, is prohibitive. It might mean, Minister, your leadership in trying to get them together, pool the resources, because there is growth. There is growth in this area.
There are calls this afternoon from the private sector for the government to delay the ban on Styrofoam. The calls come despite the Jamaica Environment Trust, JET, saying the ban should not be delayed. But as TVJ's O'Shane Masters reports, the private sector says the ban should not be instituted at once, but on a phased basis.
There's more agitation for a delay in the ban on the importation of Styrofoam, which is scheduled to start in January. Vice President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, Mariam Robinson, is pushing for a phased-in solution because of several factors. While some manufacturers have asked for an extension of the time so that alternatives can be introduced, other interest groups such as the Jamaica Environment Trust are insisting on a January start. Mrs. Robinson states that the manufacturing sector wants a ban phased in for more than one reason.
We mean that there should be a very clear high-level plan as to how we're going to ensure we create alternatives, substitutes for specifically the users. We believe that a ban without a plan on how to phase in and how to create the substitutes and how to ensure the users, of which 90% of users are small micro enterprises, I think will not achieve the full potential of the ban. We just want to make sure it's managed in a way so that all of the implications of the change, we've thought it through and we have a particular plan. That is our position. We support the Styrofoam ban, but we think it should be phased in.
Mrs. Robinson gave a proposed timeline for implementation.
I would say, so we actually, because we've talked about this internally, within the next 6 to 12 months. So we think by the end of 2020 for sure, but we actually just think it should be phased in because of the state of readiness right now is not where we think it needs to be.
President of the Small Business Association of Jamaica, Hugh Johnson, is also urging that there be a delay in the Styrofoam ban. He argues that there are technical and economic issues to be resolved.
All the alternate material that we have been using, it has a heat transfer problem. One of the complaints that we are getting, and we're talking about over 10,000 small food vendors, the customer are getting burned through these. The heat transfer is not compatible to the one that we used to have. So there is also concern as it relates to sanitation, phytosanitary aspect of it, because of the additional contact with individuals with these new bans. We're also looking on the price differential. The price of these alternatives is about 3 times the price of the Styrofoam. So we are saying until these kinks are ironed out, it is proving challenging.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
And it's now time for a break, but stay with us. More stories right after these messages. Welcome back. Continuing the news now. The government is moving to buy 35 vector control vehicles with mounted foggers to help fight the dengue outbreak. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton gave the update in the House of Representatives yesterday.
And we're hoping to have those additional 35 vehicles during the course of this month. The planning and execution of a National Mosquito Eradication Day in conjunction with the National Labor Day Secretariat located in the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport.
In the meantime, Member of Parliament for Northern Clarendon, Horace Daly, wants more testing to confirm the number of persons who actually have dengue.
Why can't we get back the blood samples on a timely basis so that we won't have to keep putting it statement by statement by statement, and it is for the country's good. No, suspected, confirmed, presumed.
Residents served by the Magotty Police Station in St. Elizabeth are calling for its relocation. The residents say the station is on a riverbank and it poses a serious threat to lives. They showed the TVJ News the back of the station building, which is being eroded by the river. The people also pointed out that when the river is in spate, water floods the back steps. They argue that the estimated $10 million recently spent to fix the station should have instead been used to relocate it. A man is now battling for life at the Kingston Public Hospital after he crashed along the Portmore Toll Road in St. Catherine this morning. Highway Patrol and firefighters from the Waterford Station responded. District Officer Raphael Leng spoke to our news center.
He received multiple injuries. He's not serious condition, but the training of the EMTs is in good and going to the hospital. So we don't know what to do after he reached the hospital, but he's in good and going to the hospital. But he's in serious condition. He's in very serious condition.
And it's now time for sports. Well, there is uncertainty among many of the nation's athletes following the removal of 4 events from the 2020 IAAF Diamond League calendar. Jordan Ford spoke with some of the athletes who say they're now facing a dilemma.
Following the IAAF's decision to remove the triple jump, discus throw, 3,000-meter steeplechase and the 200 meters from next year's Diamond League calendar, athletes have started to speak out. 2 of Jamaica's most recent Diamond Trophy winners have seen their events cut from the program. Frederick Dakers, the World Championships silver medalist from Doha, says the decision to exclude his pet event, the discus throw, came as a surprise especially because of how high the level of performances have risen over the last 2 seasons.
The discus was actually the hottest field in history because I think 5th or 6th place to 66. Normally 65 could guarantee a bronze medal. 66 was I think 6th. So in terms of a competitive field, discus was really hot.
Another World Championships silver medalist, Shanika Ricketts, has also seen her pet event, the triple jump, cut from the program. The 27-year-old says the lack of television coverage has helped stifle the event. She says the triple jump final flew under the radar at last season's Diamond League because of how it was broadcast.
When the coverage started, basically they did a recap, so persons weren't able to see the competition. No one knew how exciting it was and that it was a ding-dong battle until the end. So I think what they can do is to be fair in the way in which they show each event.
President of the MVP Track and Field Club, Bruce James, says his athletes have also expressed concerns.
Yeah, a number of my athletes who do focus on the sprints are a little concerned about it because they would love to have the option to do either the 100 or the 200 or both.
But perhaps the athletes who will be most affected by the decision are the ones who haven't yet made the breakthrough. Basil Bingham was a standout at the junior level but hasn't yet made his Diamond League debut.
As an athlete from high school coming up, the standard for you is, aside from the World Championships and Olympics, is the Diamond League. And the young athletes now, they've seen people before doing it. Frederick is doing it. Travis and I have yet to make our Diamond League debut. So this was something we were really working towards and looking towards because that's a standard of earning. It also is the entertainment on the circuit.
And Ricketts says the changes have left the athletes in a quandary.
Honestly, we're still in a state of uncertainty. They speak of introducing the World Series next year for 2020. Next year is a big year for us. It's the Olympic Games. So going into next year, we just have to focus on the Olympic Games. I'm not sure what meets we'll have because no concrete information have been given about the World Series. Hopefully they have a lot of meets that we can participate in so that we'll be ready for the Olympic Games.
American two-time Olympic triple jump champion Christian Taylor has launched an independent athletes commission as he leads the charge in trying to get the IAAF to reverse their decision. Jordan Fort, TVJ Sport.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Vashon Brown. Join us at 7 for Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.